Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us tonight. I want to start tonight by sending my condolences to the victims of the event in Charlottesville today, and as well as the victims in the helicopter crash. Thank you to those state troopers who are putting their bodies on the line to help protect people and keep them safe. Thank you for what you do. For those of you who know my story, you know that I was raised in Maine. While racism does exist everywhere in various forms, it was never something that really stood out to me as a kid. I remember in 2008, when I was able to vote in my first election for Barack Obama, thinking that the world was really going to be something different moving forward. I remember all the talk about a post-racial America. We had just elected our first Black president, so America had to have moved on from its rocky past, right? Well, that idea was shattered almost immediately. With the rise of the racist Donald Trump-led birther movement and an organized attempt to besmirch and undermine Barack Obama at every turn, I realized that a problem that was always bubbling underneath the surface was ready to explode. Fast forward a bit, and along came Donald Trump's candidacy and now his presidency. Someone very close to me once asked me why the race relations were so bad at the end of the Obama administration. I responded that the confluence of having our first Black president, the prevalence of unarmed minorities being shot and killed on camera, and the rise in anti-immigrant sentiment and rhetoric, deeply divided the nation. Images of domestic terrorists such as Dylan Roof being apprehended, fed, and then ushered into a police station alive after massacring 9 innocent civilians, Black churchgoers, contrasted sharply with the images of Eric Garner being choked to death for being in possession of contraband cigarettes. These discrepancies brought race relations in our country to a boiling point. Donald Trump used the burgeoning racist and white supremacist movement as a vehicle to carry him to the presidency. In doing that, he made many more voters and supporters complicit in his divisive and bigoted actions. David Duke, a former KKK Grand Wizard and prominent Trump supporter, said today in Charlottesville that the gathering of neo-Nazis and white supremacists pointed to a future of fulfillment of President Donald Trump's promises. Every day during my commute to work, I pass a large Confederate flag flying over the interstate. I'm told by supporters of that flag that it represents states' rights. I'm also told that that flag represents the heritage of the people who fought for what they believed in. Well, I outright reject both of those notions. The Confederate flag, statues of Confederate generals, and people marching at night with torches, reminiscent of a Klan rally, represent hatred, racism, and most importantly, white supremacy. As a Virginian by choice and not chance, I embrace the people of the Commonwealth, its rich and diverse culture, but I wholeheartedly reject the actions of those who wish to divide and marginalize along lines of race, both past and present, and will stand and fight against it every day. The events in Charlottesville show us how far we still have to go as a country. Pictures of the Confederate flag waving marchers in lockstep with their Nazi flag waving brethren are a striking symbol of what's at stake for our country. If your flag and a Nazi flag are interchangeable, there's a massive issue with what you choose to represent, and it must be addressed. I am so proud of our brothers and sisters who are putting themselves in harm's way to stand against the domestic terrorism and applaud their peaceful efforts to make it known that racism, bigotry, and white supremacy are antithetical to the values of what it means to be a Virginian, but mostly an American. Thank you very much for those of you who decided to tune in. And again, my thoughts go out to those who are there tonight. Please be safe. Don't do anything rash. Stay safe so you can get home, and don't allow the movement that we're on in to get bogged down by violence. So we're better than that, and we can do better in the future. Thank you very much, and have a good night.